It began with a message that was never meant to be heard unless something went wrong. Inside a password-protected folder on a laptop, investigators found a series of recordings time-stamped, labeled, and organized with unsettling precision. Each file followed the same pattern: a date, a location, and a name. At first, it looked like a private journal, but one recording stood out. It had no date, only a title: "If you're hearing this, I was right." The voice inside was calm and prepared, as if he knew he wouldn't be there to explain it himself. Days later, that same man was found dead. No signs of forced entry, no clear motive, but he had already left behind something most victims never do: evidence. The question investigators faced was unsettling. Did he know what was coming? His name was Daniel Ease, a 38-year-old systems analyst known for precision and routine. He lived alone, worked remotely, and kept a structured life. But beneath that routine was someone highly observant, someone who noticed patterns others ignored. Months before his death, he began to sense something was wrong. It started small: an unusual email, a car passing too often, minor inconsistencies that most people would dismiss. Daniel didn't. He began documenting everything: dates, times, screenshots, fragment of information. It may have looked excessive, but he wasn't panicking. He was preparing. Soon, his behavior changed. He installed extra locks, bought a second phone, and began recording short, focused audio entries. Each one captured a specific detail. He never sounded afraid, only certain, as if he believed something was building. Then one morning, everything stopped. He didn't answer calls or messages. By evening, authorities were called. They found him in his apartment, with no signs of struggle. At first, his death appeared natural, but his laptop, left open beside him, told a different story. Inside were files, recordings, and a trail of clues pointing somewhere specific, though no one understood them yet. The investigation moved slowly. Without obvious signs of foul play, natural causes were considered. But Daniel's files raised questions. They were too detailed to ignore. His recordings mentioned strange emails, unfamiliar names, and a repeated phrase: "The pattern doesn't reset." He noted unexplained device activity and possible surveillance, but there was no immediate proof. For a time, the case stalled. Everything changed when a forensic analyst discovered hidden metadata in the recordings: coordinates and encrypted notes. When decoded, they revealed a pattern. Each recording corresponded to a real-world location Daniel had visited before his death. Surveillance confirmed it. At each place, Daniel appeared alone, observing something, then leaving. Investigators turned his emails and found subtle anomalies, messages that looked real but weren't. Someone had been communicating with him carefully, and Daniel had noticed. Re-examining the recordings, investigators realized Daniel wasn't confused. He was building a case. Someone had gained access to parts of his digital life, monitoring and mimicking him. Daniel responded methodically. He changed passwords, tracked breaches, and created controlled traps to confirm he was being watched. Each time the intruder reacted, his recordings became sharper, pointing towards someone with inside knowledge, someone who understood his work and habits. In his final entries, Daniel stopped questioning and began concluding. He had identified the source. Instead of confronting them, he documented everything. His notes, recordings, and hidden data formed a structured trail of evidence leading to one person. The breakthrough came from the final recording: "If you're hearing this, I was right." Daniel referenced a routine system update at work, one that contained a hidden access pathway. He traced it to a specific account belonging to a trusted colleague. Further investigation confirmed it. The colleague had been using Daniel's credentials, studying his behavior, and extracting sensitive data. When Daniel discovered the truth, he became a risk. A re-examination of the autopsy revealed a subtle toxin previously overlooked. In an earlier recording, Daniel had described feeling unwell after a meeting, documenting symptoms and timing. That record became critical. Metadata from his files placed him with a colleague at a private location on the day the symptoms began. It was no longer speculation. It was proof. Daniel had uncovered the truth and preserved it. The arrest came quietly. Faced with the evidence Daniel had left behind, the colleague confessed. The motive was calculated: driven by opportunity and the belief that no one would notice. But Daniel had noticed from the beginning. Instead of reacting, he prepared, ensuring the truth would survive him. For investigators, the case was remarkable not for its complexity, but for its clarity. The victim had not left behind questions, he had left answers. For his family, the loss remained, but so did something rare, certainty. Daniel's recordings were later studied as a case of foresight and determination. In the end, one fact remained undeniable. He did not just become a victim. He became the reason the truth was found.